Hi, I'm Pam and I'm here to talk about video games. So, it's the end of December and that means it's time for a Best Games of the Year list. Somehow I managed to play 30 games that were released in 2015, which is a lot. I'm not sure how I had time for all of that, plus all of the older games I play. I guess I don't have enough to do. But anyways, that meant there was a lot of deliberation. It was a bit tough to pick only 5 of my favorite games, but I'm going to tell them to you. Number 5. My first pick is a bit of a surprise since it wasn't a game I was particularly interested in when it was first announced. However, the game's humor, charm, and wit won me over, and that's why it's number 5. It's Tales from the Borderlands. When Tales from the Borderlands was first announced, I wasn't overly excited. I enjoyed the world of Borderlands, while the loot grind didn't really appeal to me. Also, the Telltale formula had long ago lost its luster. But Tales from the Borderlands was something special. Rather than focus on harrowing life-or-death decisions, Tales focuses on humor, characters, and has some of the best writing I've seen in a game. Above all, this game is funny. There aren't too many games that can make me laugh out loud, but this one did it multiple times. From the gunfights at Hyperion headquarters to the relationship formed between robot companions, this game is in turns hilarious and heartwarming, with the occasional Telltale-style gut punch.
Where exactly are we going?
Number 4. My number 4 pick is a AAA title that tries to do something new and unique to revitalize the sometimes stale survival horror genre. Though it uses well-known tropes and character archetypes, rather than put you in the shoes of one particular character, it puts you in the director's chair. It's Until Dawn. Released in August, Until Dawn follows around a group of teenagers who have come together in a remote cabin on the anniversary of the disappearance of 2 of their friends. As you can probably guess, things start to go bad, and depending on your choices, teens start dying. The game uses a butterfly effect mechanic that changes the course of the game, as well as who lives and dies based on your decisions and how well you do at QuickTime events. Full of both jump scares and unnerving atmosphere, this is a game that kept me on the edge of my seat throughout. I bought it on release and played it in its entirety over the next couple of days, basically without stopping. It's a very cinematic experience with hyper-realistic character models played by actors such as Rami Malek, Peter Stormare, and Hayden Panettiere. I really appreciate this game's twist on the usual survival horror genre, and I do plan to go back and play more to see if I can save everyone or kill them. Number 3. My third pick shouldn't be too much of a surprise if you've been watching my more modern reviews. It's a sequel to a game that builds on the original just enough to make it fresh, while keeping everything that made the first so great. It's Rise of the Tomb Raider. Released in November, Rise of the Tomb Raider was everything I hoped it would be. Fast, exciting, and above all, a lot of fun. The game lets us learn a little more about Lara Croft and follows her travels from England to Syria to the lost city of Katesh. The game has buttery smooth, intuitive controls, and combat, whether you're taking the stealth route or the more direct one, is very satisfying. The game adds some new mechanics from the first one, like the ability to craft more items and collect more weapons, and features a greater number of more challenging tombs and crypts. Rise of the Tomb Raider gets rid of multiplayer and instead adds a much more interesting expedition mode that lets you compete for high scores and easily replay the most interesting parts of the game whenever you like. For me, the most interesting parts are these fantastic cinematic set pieces that are just thrilling to play. Number 2. My number 2 pick is a beautiful platformer that combines great art direction, platforming, and music, plus a touching story to create a really great experience. It's Ori and the Blind Forest. Released in March, Ori and the Blind Forest is my favorite platformer of the year. In it, you play a light spirit trying to restore balance to the forest. The story is extremely touching. A tear or two may have been shed, and it's backed up by really solid gameplay. The platforming is top-notch, and though it starts out simply, new abilities are introduced at a good rate. The game is challenging, but not excessively so, with the exception of one or two really tough bits. By the end of the game, though, you'll have Ori gliding, floating, wall climbing, and charge jumping across the beautiful open map with ease. In this game, you'll meet a cast of wonderful, memorable characters and see interactions that will probably stay with you long after you finish the game. Number 1. And now, it's time for my game of the year. This game belongs to a genre that's been experiencing a bit of a renaissance lately, and I could not be more thrilled. It's Pillars of Eternity. CRPG lovers have had it good recently, and for me, Pillars of Eternity represents the best of the newer releases. Released in March after a very successful Kickstarter campaign. As a spiritual successor to games like Baldur's Gate and Planescape Torment, Pillars drops us in a vast fantasy world as a protagonist who can see souls in people's past lives. From character creation to dialogue options to companion choices, the role-playing element is suitably deep and is backed up by very immersive writing along with a good amount of great voice acting. The tactical party-based combat is real-time, making the action fast and furious, though it can be paused when you need to dole out orders to your party.
Get inside! Run!
The game looks and sounds great with beautiful pre-rendered 2D environments and is the best isometric RPG I've played in years. I wish more of the AAA RPGs coming out recently would take some cues from Pillars of Eternity. Well, that's my top 5 of the year, but since I did play so many games, I feel like I have to give out a few honorable mentions. The first one, Witcher 3. I've been a huge fan of the Witcher series since the beginning, and 3 was one of the games I most look forward to this year and spent the most time playing. CD Projekt Red created a huge, beautiful world full of their signature excellent writing, great characters, hard decisions, and engrossing quests. What kept it out of the top 5? It was just too damn big, and some of the mechanics were clunky and unnecessary. However, I have to give credit where it's due and give props to The Witcher 3 for creating such a beautiful, immersive world filled with memorable stories and quests. Plus, I think CD Projekt Red makes the best cinematics in the business. My next special mention goes to Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. The Old Blood was released in May as a standalone expansion to Wolfenstein: The New Order. I was more than happy to step into BJ Blazkowicz's boots again and experience the game's smooth, satisfying combat. There aren't a ton of weapons in this game, but they all play very differently, and the stealth elements are a lot of fun as well. While the story here isn't as strong or as serious as The New Order, it's enjoyable pulp filled with Nazis, zombies, and supernatural elements. And last, but certainly not least, is Stasis. Stasis is a point-and-click adventure game in an isometric RPG package. This game feels tailor-made to me because it combines so many elements I love. Adventure, sci-fi, horror, questions about morality and when science goes too far. The protagonist wakes up in an unfamiliar ship where almost everyone is dead and his family is missing, and he has to figure out what the hell is going on. I highly recommend this one, but fair warning, it's super dark. So those are my favorite games of 2015. Let me know what you think and what some of your favorites were down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next year.